Hi there. Welcome to the midsummer edition of Shorty on the Fly. With temperatures being too high to catch and release trout, I've had requests to do some panfish flies to scratch our itch until the cool water returns. So here is my first, and this is a rubber-legged Renegade. Kind of took a trout fly and added some legs to it, and it'll give me the opportunity to show you how to deal with them. I know some people are kind of afraid of the legs, so we'll help you out with that today. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm using a size 10 dry fly hook on this today. I like the slightly larger hook for the panfish because they tend to inhale the flies, you know, and get them pretty deep. So by using a slightly larger hook, we're going to prevent that, especially if we want to catch and release the little guys. So we'll get the thread started on the hook in the usual fashion, and then come in and trim away the waist and run the thread back to the hook point. And I'm using black 6/0 Danville here today. And then for a tag, I'm going to use a medium Mirage opal tinsel, and we'll go ahead and get that tied in. If I can get it to cooperate here, there we go, and run that back to about the bend of the hook. And now I'm going to take 4 wraps down the hook bend with this. I don't know, there's just something about Mirage opal tinsel that seems to trigger strikes in any species of fish. It really doesn't matter. It seems to be one of those items that they just like. So I made 4 wraps back and 4 wraps back up, and now I'm going to come in and trap that and trim off the waist. And this has 2 hackles. We have a dark hackle in the back and a lighter hackle up front. And for my hackle in the back, I'm using a barred rusty dun. You can use whatever you have. If you only have brown, that'll work just fine. But come in and take away the lower webby stuff. As I said, you know, if you have brown hackle or something dark, you know, whatever you have will work just fine here. So now let's go ahead and get our hackle tied in. And then I'm going to take 4 wraps of hackle. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then lift the rest of the hackle stem above the hook and come in and trap it with your thread. All right. Get rid of the waist. And now on the traditional pattern, it uses peacock herl for the body material, but in this case I'm going to use peacock ice dub instead because it's a little bit easier to deal with because we're going to put the legs on there. So I'm taking just a little bit, spinning it on the thread, got about 2 inches there, but it's very, very sparse on the thread. And then go ahead and start wrapping your abdomen and run it to the halfway point on the hook. And then for legs, I'm using centipede legs in a tan color. You can use whatever legs you want. It really doesn't make that much difference. And I've taken one of the strands out and cut it in half already. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to fold it over and get the tips even, and then come in and cut that in half. And that'll give us a leg for either side of the fly. Now the easiest way to deal with these things is to take it and wrap the legs around the thread, trying to make sure that you keep the ends as even as possible there. Okay? Now just get a hold of them, take it to the far side of the hook, and pull, you know, put some tension on it so that you get them into place. And if it's not quite even, it doesn't matter because we are going to come in and trim those off later. And I do exactly the same thing with the other strand. All right, come in, fold it around the thread, getting the tips as even as you can, and do the same thing on the near side of the hook. All right? And again, take some pretty firm wraps to hold everything in place. At that point, you know, the ends aren't even, but we're going to deal with that in a little bit. So come back in, grab a little bit more dubbing, and spin it on the thread. Again, not too much. Never too much dubbing. All right, now we're going to take that first couple wraps, and go right through the tie-in point for our legs. Then lift the legs up and out of the way, and complete body going forward. Now leave yourself a significant amount there behind the hook eye, because now we're going to tie in our front hackle, which in this case is a cream colored hackle. And I'm preparing it in the same way. Taking the webby stuff off the bottom, leaving ourselves a little stem for tie-in, and we got her. Okay, and one little, I hate when that happens. You get that one little hackle that doesn't want to behave. Okay, so here we go. Now we got to kind of lift the legs out of the way, and then begin wrapping our hackle. And I'm getting 4 turns of hackle, and then come in and capture it with the thread, using our left hand at that point to wrap, and snip the waist off. And we're going to come in and get a whip finish on that. And we have a couple of stray hackles there. We're going to just come in with the scissors, snip those out. Again, go ahead and take our thread, snip the thread. Still got a couple little ones there. Get those out of there. There we go. Now, at this point, those legs are way too long. So what I'm going to do is lift them up above the hook, and I'll show them. I'm bringing towards you. I'm going to come in and trim those off so that they're even on either side. Now we're talking. Okay? There you go. That is a rubber-legged Renegade. I know it's not the most beautiful assemblage of materials, but it is a fish catcher. You see that profile from underneath, you get that thing going in the water, those legs start to move around. Even if it sinks, you know, slightly below the surface, you keep jigging that thing and the fish are going to come up and give that a whack. So there you are. That should scratch your itch until the waters cool off for trout again. Go tie them up, get out there. I bid you peace.